fire. Have you had a chance to check it out too much?
So I did at the 110 beta realm. I have not played it at 120 yet, and that's just because I'm a fire. I mean, not a fire mage. I'm a frost and arcane mage, but
Yo, you,
experience
you
has done me
changed,
before.
bro. You used to be just a frost mage, but
All right, you
something
got me.
happened.
Arcane's a lot of fun, all right, but fire is the dark side. But I have looked a little bit at the talents. I have messed around a little bit, but you know, so this will be mainly you, but I'll kind of add some stuff here and there to add my thoughts.
Yeah, no worries, man. So I've been messing around with fire a lot, and I think the biggest thing before we jump into the specifics is like, to me, if you liked Fire in Legion, you will like Fire in BFA. Like it is, it's very similar. I would say it's almost identical when you look at the different talents and traits and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I haven't messed around with all the builds yet, so I'm not as informed as Frost and Arcane. But I don't know. What do you think at first glance?
I mean, I'm looking at the talents and PvP talents right now, and it's hard for me to find differences, really.
Yep.
I mean, you're going to be using probably a spec with either Phoenix Flames or Flame On, and really just spamming out instant casts. I mean, there's Living Bomb, there's Meteor if you're trying to do some burst, but really just a lot of Fire Blast. Phoenix Flames, Pyros, creating more Pyros, and it seems like it's going to play very similar to kind of the Legion Fire Mage that we've had. The consistent I've played against it, right? And the consistent pressure is actually pretty decent. Seems kind of hard to kill it as well for the same reasons that Arcane, not Arcane, but kind of the Frost is difficult to kill.
Arcane's
so,
a beast of its own.
Arcane's its own monster, but yeah, I mean, a lot of instant cast pressure. You're basing a lot of your damage on Phoenix Flames and Fire Blast and Pyroblast, and other than that, I mean, it's just kind of very, very similar to Legion.
Yep. So on that note, we can kind of just jump into the talents. I mean, the 15 row, you have Firestarter, Pyromaniac, and Searing Touch. Searing Touch is a new addition. I think it was a legendary before, like an Execute legendary. So it's kind of interesting. Scorch deals additional damage to targets and is 100% chance to crit on targets that are under 30% HP. So if someone's under 30% HP and you're spamming Scorch, they're most likely going to die because you're going to get chain pyro procs over and over and over. Plus your Scorch is going to be doing so much more damage. So it's like giving Fire Mage kind of like an Execute.
Yeah, you know, I was playing around with it a little bit. I mean, only on the 110. I haven't played that 120 yet, but it seems like Searing Touch, even with the bonus damage and crit, it seems like Scorch still does almost nothing.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I could be wrong because that was only on the 110 realm. I don't know how much you've played around with it, but
No, it does
like
nothing.
yeah, seems like I would want to do even more than that for it to be a talent that I would want to pick over Pyromaniac. And then there's Firestarter, but I mean, it seems like Pyromaniac's probably just for that consistency. 8% chance to reactivate Hot Streak. I mean, when you get that, you can just add so much more damage to your rotation, but maybe the scaling on Searing Touch is a little different than I'm thinking.
So Searing Touch, my thoughts on that, yeah, Scorch does poop damage, but the main benefit is that you're getting the Pyro procs, and there's a talent I want to talk to you a little bit about later on called Controlled Burn, and I think getting the Pyro procs with Controlled Burn, which is basically Accelerated Ignite, it is really, really good damage, so it could definitely be used as like an Execute. But yeah, like you said, I'm not the biggest fan of the Execute talents when you compare them to something that's going to benefit you the entire game. You know, I want to do damage to someone who's at 100% HP, you know, 50% HP. When someone's already 20% HP, it's nice to finish them off, but I'd rather have pressure throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and for the opposite reasoning, I think Firestarter isn't great because I mean, it's great that you can do damage when someone's full life, but then it's useless when you're actually getting a kill. So I think Pyromaniac's that nice middle ground where it's like, it's not a full life talent, it's not a low life talent. We're actually just getting value most of the game out of this. So yeah, I think we agree on that.
Yeah, 100% Pyromaniac's what I've been running. Level 30 row. You have Blast Wave, Blazing Soul, and Shimmer. What have you been running? Or what do you think about these?
What a surprise. So Shimmer, I mean, it's allowing you to get those polymorphs. It's increasing the mobility by a lot. Shimmer is just super viable for so many reasons. Shimmer.
Yeah, Shimmer's really strong. Blast Wave is kind of like a meme, honestly. Like, when I saw Blast Wave back on this row, I was like, oh my god, we get a knock and a big snare. Like, that's so cool. But the knock is literally like a millimeter. Like, walk your character and then jump. That's what the knock is on Blast Wave, unfortunately. I think if it was a bigger knock, it might be useful, or if I did a little bit more damage or something like that, but I just don't feel like the knock and the slow are good enough to really compete with Shimmer. Shimmer's just the best thing ever, and it just allows, in a world of melee being so crazy, Shimmer just allows us to, you know, still land those consistent polymorphs and get around and get casts off when we normally wouldn't. So super strong. Really, it's really hard to give that up.
And I think we've talked about this a little bit, but for Shimmer to not be viable, I'm sure a lot of the people watching are like, where's a world where we don't use Shimmer? And I really think to not use Shimmer at this point, we would need something like Blazing Speed. We need something like Alter Time. We need something like Deep Freeze. And that's just because with melee being the way they are, okay, Warrior charges you or stuns you, you can blink, but then he's leaping to you. How are you going to get away? You need something to then counter that with Blazing Speed, with Alter. Temp Shield's very nice, and then you also need a way to kind of guarantee those polymorphs. And right now that's Shimmer. That's all on Shimmer. But if you want to get rid of Shimmer, we just need kind of something else in its place. And right now we don't have that. So you just have to pick Shimmer or else you're never going to get a sheep.
Yeah, and we talked in the part 2 of this video series, the only talent we thought might be worth it over Shimmer was the Mana Shield, and that's because Arcane has Displace, like Xaryu was saying, the additional mobility, and then you're just immune to death by spamming Mana Shield, so it doesn't even matter if that warrior gets back to you. But for the other specs, you definitely need that mobility. 45 row, take it away.
Incanners, definitely. I mean, we've talked about this in both of the other portions now for Frost and Arcane, but Mirror Images maybe in a world PvP or duel, but for Fire, probably not even Mirror Images. Arena Power, you just can't stand still in PvP, so it's just not really a viable choice there. So Incanners Flow, giving you 4 to 20% increased damage back and forth. It's just so powerful, so much consistent pressures. Incanners all the way.
Yep, 100% agree with that. So pretty standard for that one. I mean, Encounter Slow has just been like a staple all throughout Legion. I think it's going to be strong in BFA as well. The next row, this one's kind of interesting, but not that interesting. Messing around with it, it still feels like, we lost Phoenix Flames. We didn't really lose it. We lost our artifact weapon going into BFA. Phoenix Flames managed to stick around as a talent, and that's what I've really been playing. More instant damage, more ways to generate your Power Blast, which is more instant damage. It just seems too good to really give up compared to the other two.
Yeah, I mean, initially when I read it, I was like, ooh, Flame On, Fire Blast cooldown reduction and generate a lot more pyros, but Phoenix Flames kind of does that even better sometimes, but then adds a little bit more pressure than Flame On would. So definitely with you there with the Phoenix Flames, being able to Phoenix Flames and then Fire Blast and Pyro. I mean, what else do you really need? You're doing instant cast pressure over and over and over, so definitely Phoenix Flames.
Yeah, and that's kind of the theme of Fire Mage. It's, spam out instant damage, and you're really a control bot. You're just spamming out crowd control with Polymorphs, Dragon's Breath, Ring of Frost, which brings us to our 75 row. You have Frenetic Speed, Ice Ward, and Ring of Frost. And I think Ring of Frost is probably going to be the go-to. Just one of the annoying things about the Fire Mage is you have to deal with 3 schools of magic. They have Ring of Frost on Frost, as well as Frost Nova. Then they have all their fire spells, which is how they're dealing damage, as well as the Dragon's Breath. And then they have Polymorph and Blink on their Arcane tree. So no matter what you interrupt, they have a CC coming your way. So I think the Ring of Frost is probably going to be the best option.
And I agree for that same exact reasoning. I mean, Ring of Frost, being able to get that CC off, even if you're interrupted in one of the other 2 schools, it's just so powerful. I mean, the other ones are interesting. There's just no way that they compare to value with Ring of Frost. So, agreed there once again.
What do you think about the 90 row?
I don't like the 90 row.
Me neither.
It's awful. So Flame Patch, I mean, helping out Flame Strike isn't doing much. Living Bomb, it's like, okay, it might break CC. It's
Nether Tempest Syndrome.
Yeah, it's not too much damage. I could spec it, but I'll probably never use it. And then can flag, Fireball applies, can flag to the target, dealing additional damage. And then enemies affected by either Conflag or Ignite have a 10% chance to flare up and deal damage to nearby enemies. Also has a chance to break CC. So all 3 of them are you just don't want any, really.
It's
so
like
I guess I'll pick Living Bomb and just not use it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Nether Tempest. You just spec it and don't press it once. And that's one of the disappointing things about some of the talent rows is it feels like there's no good option for Threes Arena, but what can you do? So 90, gonna pick Living Bomb. I'll bind it, use it occasionally, but most likely not gonna be something I press consistently in my damage rotation. And then
I might not even bind it. I might just open my spellbook and click it every now and then.
Every once in a while.
Leave it off my bars.
Very nice. What about the 100 row?
So Meteor's nice for adding that extra burst, because Fire does kind of lack burst, and Meteor's one of those spells that you can't actually pair it with all of your consistent pressure. Throw down the Meteor, keep up that consistent pressure, then boom, that Meteor lands in the stun, and you can actually burst someone down. So I kind of like the idea of it. I haven't really tested the scaling and seeing how much damage it's doing. If it's doing almost nothing, it wouldn't be worth it. If it's doing a ton of damage, I definitely would like it. Kindling, getting those combustions a little more frequently might help with the consistency, as we were talking about earlier, which I'm not sure if is absolutely necessary. It depends on the comp, but I'd probably if you're playing with a rogue, I'd like to burst with meteor, maybe a very high consistent pressure comp with like a feral where you're not bursting as much, maybe kindling. But what do you think?
I tend to agree with that. I feel like I'm mostly gonna pick like if I'm playing Fire Mage, I like Meteor. Like it's just a fun extra ability. You know, good burst. Kind of can be used as aerial denial sometimes. Pyroclasm is interesting. I think it's good for PvP or PvE, not PvP. If you're gonna pick Pyroclasm, you might as well just go Greater Pyro, which I mean we can kind of move into the PvP talents. Greater Pyro still a PvP talent. It's just better than Pyroclasm, I think. So, you know, why?
Yeah.
This is pretty much the same thing. It's just better. So, I don't really see me ever speccing Pyroclasm when Greater Pyroblast is an option available to me.
Yeah, what I like about it is just it's a flat 35%. So it's just so scary no matter kind of what you're doing as far as mitigations. With Pyroclasm, yeah, I think definitely the Meteor Burst. But, I mean, looking at these fire talents, I think a lot of it is defensive, right? Like, you want to go Temporal Shield. I think Priz Cloak's a good in a lot of matchups, so that leaves you kind of like one option for that third slot. Like, assuming you're not going to go for that Greater Pyro build, we have Controlled Burn, maybe Tinder if you want to cast out those fireballs. I'm thinking Controlled Burn, though, for that increased, like, having that damage come a little quicker seems like the way to go.
So for me, I've been playing Temporal Shield, standard, and then I've kind of just been... I've given up on the Prismatic Cloak for now. Like, if I need it, if I'm dying consistently, I'll maybe take it. But for now, I'm trying to greed it as much as I can. And I've been playing with Tinder because I feel like Tinder, just being able to get that fast cast Fireball is really, really strong with the increased damage. If it ends up critting, you get a big Ignite. And then that's when the Controlled Burn really comes in. Like I kind of talked about, a talent. I don't know if it was in Legion, to be honest with you. I don't think it was. I think this is a new talent. And basically what it does is it makes your Ignite do its full damage 100% faster. So Ignite is a dot that comes up. It's your mastery. Based off how much damage you do, Ignite will go up. And with Controlled Burn, that Ignite ticks faster. So if you are able to get out some burst, your dot will essentially tick faster and burst them down harder. So I think it's really fun. I like it. And
I really like the idea of Controlled Burn. I mean, just the way the damage comes, like affecting the way the damage comes in. It's not affecting the damage itself, but how it's coming in. I just like that. I definitely think it's a solid pick there.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a talent no one ever used for rogues, but Exsanguinate.
Yeah.
You put your bleeds up and you can like make them tick way faster for a burst. So it kind of reminds me of that in a way. And then some of the other talents, World in Flames. It's kind of a meme. Like maybe it'd be good in RPGs or something like that where you can flame strike everybody down. But in Arena, I remember this talent when it first came out.
I was just gonna mention this. I'm glad you're mentioning it.
That was my favorite thing in the world. Playing with Zico, playing double Flame Strike Mage, just like DDoSing people's not actually DDoSing them, but like it was so graphically intense that people would lag out and like fry their graphics card, and anyways, it was awesome. But World in Flames, its glory is not there anymore. I don't think it's going to be as good. Firestarter, maybe. Fireball reduces the cooldown of your combustion. Maybe that with Kindling, you're like getting really quick combustions. Think that could be something we see?
That might be more viable. Like if you're running with a Feral Druid, I mean, how often is Meteor really helping you? I mean, using a lot of the stuns on the healer to try to get CC, or using it on third guy for control. So if you're running with like Fire Feral and you run Kindling and Firestarter, that might actually kind of outweigh Meteor to just combust so frequently. You'd have to see, because I mean, you can't cast too many fireballs, but it might be worth it.
Yeah, could definitely be worth it. Greater Pyroblast could be good as some caster comps. Like I think the only time we've really seen it showcased in threes was like Destro, Holy Pally, Fire Mage, and there's like a team that's tried to make it work for a long time, but to be honest, it's really not that scary. It's just too long of a cast time.
Yeah. Something like a Holy Priest, Destro, Fire Mage. I think I've seen something like that where they're casting a Chaos Bolt. The Holy Priest is casting on a Greater Pyro. It's like, well, which one do you want to kick? Do you want to kick the Greater Pyro with the Chaos Bolt, or the Priest free casting Smites to get more stuns? Like, you have to kick something, you know? Yeah. And then the other things are going to hit. So I could maybe see it working in a situation like that, but overall, probably not as nice as just the instant cast fire build that we're used to.
And then you kind of just have the standard defensive. Well, you have Dampen Magic, Prismatic Cloak, and then Kleptomania. Kleptomania is it's good in certain situations. Like, it's super good. I don't play RBGs as much as you, but I imagine you play Kleptomania in RBGs. Like, it's got to be good for just stripping off at tanks, HOTS.
I actually don't, but I mean, now that you say that, it's probably good. So
Wait, what?
Maybe you're on the forefront of RBG meta creation.
I just imagine, like,
RBGs,
oh, we're going to open on this tank. Let's cheap shot smoke bomb him. Klepto, 50 HOTS off. Like, I feel like it would be good, but maybe not.
There's no way that's bad. You're definitely right. I just haven't done that.
Okay.
I'm a noob.
And then, yeah, it's also good. It's like literally Kleptomania to me in threes is just fuck you, Resto Druid. It's essentially like,
yeah.
It's good against Resto Druids. Sorry for swearing.
I've been playing with a Resto Druid, Dino, if you know him, Dino.
Yeah.
And he always types in party chat, he never gets in voice, but every time you fight a Kleptomania, he's just like, dude, that spell is so dumb, like, full CC, you get Klepto and you just die, like, what a brainless talent, man, like, he's so mad every time a mage presses Klepto, so that makes me want to run it if it makes him that frustrated to play against.
Yep, exactly. So, for me, in conclusion, I've mostly been running with the Tinder and Controlled Burned. I know Josh doesn't have the most time to sort of mess around with fire, but you know what's up, man. Like I said, the fire is gonna be good, and I said that right at the beginning. It's gonna have consistent damage, instant damage, good crowd control. There will be comps where fire is viable if that's the kind of playstyle you like.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean that's gonna do it for the fire video. I suppose we can. I haven't actually. It's not gonna do it for the fire video. We can kind of talk about some of the traits. I haven't looked at a lot of them, so. Yeah.
I haven't looked at any of them.
I haven't looked at the traits are going to be like there's a few that are interesting to me. The one mostly that I'm interested in because I'm such a big fan of like Fireball, Frostbolt, and I suppose Arcane Missiles doing a lot of damage. Those are the talents that I've mostly been messing with. The other ones I haven't had a chance to really experiment with too much, so sorry we don't have that information for you just yet. But we'll definitely keep you posted. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. This was part 3. Remember, guys. If you want to check out the Arcane video, you can do that on my channel, and then the Frost video you can do so on Xaryu's channel, man. It was awesome getting to chat with you. Like I said, we normally monologue these videos by ourselves, so being able to bounce ideas off each other, to me, was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for asking me to be on the channel, man. When you messaged me, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm so excited to talk about some BFA mage changes. So happy to be here, happy to chat about mages, man, anytime.
That's awesome, dude. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and definitely follow Josh's YouTube, follow my YouTube for more BFA mage stuff.